Presidential candidate Rudy Giuliani has some blind spots with conservative Republican voters. In addition to his views on abortion and gay marriage, the former mayor of New York, a sanctuary city, has trouble explaining his pro-amnesty views to conservative primary voters. Now, Giuliani was in London today. John King talked with him there about immigration reform. And John, what did Rudy Giuliani tell you?
It's quite interesting, Kitty. Rudy Giuliani is hardly the only Republican candidate for president who seems to be getting the message from voters, especially conservative voters, with an emphasis now in all of his speeches or all of his comments on immigration on border security first. But when we sat down today, the mayor said if voters understood the context of the time when he was mayor of New York, they would understand his views. And he also insisted, Kitty, in that interview that he is not running away from his record as mayor. What would you tell somebody now who hears Rudy Giuliani saying, my first priority is border security, and then it's easier to deal with the more complicated issues? That's what you say now to someone out there who views a path to citizenship or any legal status as amnesty, period. You hope to get to a point where those illegals can get legal status at some point.
Sure. As mayor and president, you have somewhat different responsibilities, but I've always had a consistent position about it. Illegal immigration should be stopped, and legal immigration should be expanded. And as mayor of New York, I couldn't stop illegal immigration. No city can stop illegal immigration. And the federal government was making a very, very small contribution to removing people who were illegal immigrants from New York City. And I had a tremendous crime problem to deal with. So I had to come to rational judgments about how to deal with that for the safety and the security of the city.
Note the sure at the very beginning of that answer, Kitty, before the mayor moved on to say by being perhaps lax on illegal immigration at one point or on illegal immigrants, he was trying to be more anti-crime. The sure meant that he believes that if you first deal with border security, then there will be a political climate in which you could then push a proposal, much like backed by President Bush and Senator John McCain and Senator Ted Kennedy, that would give citizenship or legal status to the estimated 12 million or more illegal immigrants in the United States. But that interview and the quick answer and pivot, if you will, to other issues, more proof of how Rudy Giuliani, and he is hardly alone on the campaign trail, prefers now to emphasize border security and not the fact that if elected president, he does say, sure, he would push eventually to grant those illegal immigrants, most of them, legal status, if not citizenship. Kitty?
John, you know, those who criticize sanctuary cities say there are security concerns with allowing undocumented workers into a city. As the former mayor knows, security is a big priority for New York.
It's an interesting balance, and if you match his statements as mayor to his statements as presidential candidate, there certainly is a difference in tone. He insists there's not a difference in position. What he says now is that his #1 priority was crime on city streets, and so he told police officers, do not arrest, do not try to deport, do not try to enforce any actions against illegal immigrants who are reporting crimes, because it is much more important that we get that information from them and deal with the crime problem. He says he believes if the American people look at that record, they will understand that he had to put the priority on crime, not illegal immigration. At that point in time, he says as president, things would be different. But certainly, Kitty, you know this full well. Governor Romney of Massachusetts already criticizing Mayor Giuliani's record. Other rivals in the Republican nomination fight criticizing it as well as we get closer and closer to those first early contests back there in the States.
John, it's not an issue he can duck. Thanks very much, John King. John King from London.